I got my trick-or-treat bag here. I have an item. It encompasses Halloween. It has Martian invaders. It has a Halloween shop, a mask shop. We have a Halloween parade in this trick-or-treat bag.
It's a big
What
bag.
is it?
What is it?
It's Halloweird.
Oh.
Eerie, Indiana. One of my favorite shows growing up from the 90s. They came out with a book, well, a series. There's pretty much 17 of these by Michael Ford, John Peel. There was a couple other authors that wrote these stories based on Eerie, Indiana. 1 through 12 is based on Marshall and Simon. And then 13 through 17 is based on Eerie, Indiana, The Other Dimension, which came out in 1998.
Ooh.
Yeah, it had 15 episodes. Wasn't as great to me, and I was a lot older at that point. This book, which is Halloweird, it takes place on Halloween. It's number 15 in the series, Mitchell and Stanley. So it's not Marshall and Simon.
What?
I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a really great story for Halloween. And I think if you are a Halloween fan and your kids are growing up, this is a great kids book. I wanted to share this with everybody because Eerie, Indiana is kind of Halloweenish. It's kind of like me and Greg. You know, we're searching for the paranormal, the spookiness that's out there, but they have some Halloween stories mixed into the actual show.
I almost knew that you were going to be bringing up Eerie, Indiana. I mean, I even have my GM 2020s on. Womp bump a doo bump.
Greg has them too, but he won't wear them.
No, they're Matt's. He wears them when he watches Eerie, Indiana.
Do you guys know what GM, because they're called GM 2020s in that episode, just say no for fun. Do you know what the GM stands for?
General Motors.
Trivia?
Greg answered it. Is that correct?
It's not General Motors
Why isn't it General Motors?
because it is not an automobile.
What is it?
It is for Groucho Marx because Groucho Marx had the eyebrows and the mustache and the glasses, and his nose was kind of like that. I'm interested, Matt. So you finished the whole book, and it gives you good Halloween vibes?
I think before you go into the book, I think you should set up the TV show.
True.
Talk about what the TV show is actually about.
The both of them, because there is 2 of them. So there was originally 19 episodes in the first series, Eerie, Indiana, which came out in 1991.
Yep.
They kept re-airing it. It wasn't a big hit.
Which I don't know why it wasn't a big hit.
No, I feel like maybe the time of the day that they aired it.
That's what I am thinking.
Yeah,
It was the wrong time of day.
it was a huge budget because Joe Dante was a part of it, just like We Love the Burbs. So,
Yep.
you know, that had something to do with it. I think money.
I think so.
I don't think that's accurate though, because the last episode ever of Eerie, Indiana was right after the first episode of The X-Files. So
Little trivia
one
for the
show
kids.
took off and the other show didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, but this is a kid's show.
Yeah.
This is, I feel like it was so much further ahead of its time. And maybe kids really weren't, because I was right on the cusp of, I was still young enough where I enjoyed this. And then I started to get a little older. And then maybe I wasn't watching as much TV at the time.
Sad.
It is.
I heard some people saying that they felt that they didn't know what this show was. Was it a kid's show? Was it an adult's show? But this came out, I believe, the show
1991.
September 15th, 1991 to December 9th, 1993. And I believe that is before Goosebumps came out. And when Goosebumps came out and it became huge, then that was when they reran this show.
Well, yeah, it was almost like a prequel to Goosebumps almost.
Yeah,
It has those vibes because if you look at a lot of the episodes, they have some big names like Tobey Maguire's in it, Danielle Harris, who's in the Halloween franchise, she's in it. Army Katz, who's the main star of the show. Right after he did this, he did Hocus Pocus in 1993.
Mother and Poke.
right.
Yeah, see, what I loved about this growing up is it was a kid named Marshall Teller. He just moved from New Jersey. They moved out to Eerie, Indiana, another, I guess you would say, sister town to Eerie, Indiana.
Normal, Illinois.
Yes, Normal, Illinois.
Yeah, the map has like all kinds of fake names all around it.
It's almost a mix of sci-fi, horror, kind of paranormal. It is all, I wouldn't say it's all over the place just because I enjoyed it. And every now and then on the weekends, I'll put it on like in the background and watch it. And it just feels like a Saturday morning back in the early 90s. And I just love it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it has like a feel like when you were younger, riding your bikes around with your friends. I don't know if kids still do that anymore, but
E-bikes now.
I don't know, just have an adventure.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Goonies or Explorers kind of adventure.
Yeah.
It had like this eeriness, or it had like even a kind of social commentary like that the Twilight Zone had. I do remember when Tom and I first saw this, it was during the reruns, I believe. The first one I saw was that first episode, the Foreverwhere. And I remember thinking,
Foreverwhere, yeah. Everyone remembers that.
dude, it was just like, it was creative. And then you had these two kids who were going around collecting evidence and no one believed them. And
Marshall and Simon. It's like Matt and Greg.
They had their own personal space in that attic. They had that locker, the evidence locker where they kept everything. And I remember thinking, that is so cool.
You should read Return of Foreverwhere. It's kind of like a continuation
I'm curious.
of Foreverwhere, the episode. That's why I like these books. After I read the Halloweird one, I was like, dude, I got to dive into this a little bit more. I want to start collecting more of them. And I bought a bunch of them on eBay. That's where pretty much you could find these. And then, yeah, the first book of this is Return to Foreverwhere. Pretty much a continuation. It's really cool because all the same characters' names are in it, like Marshall and Simon, and then his mom, his dad.
Oh, Marshall and Simon are in it.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying like this because the other ones, 13 through 17, is Mitchell and Stanley. So
Oh, I see.
it is cool. Like I read pretty much the first 5 of them. Simon and Marshall's Excellent Adventure. That was a pretty good one. And then, yeah, the Bureau of the Lost. So that's like almost like a continuation. I didn't really dig this story, but you know, it's part of the series. So
This reminds me of like when you used to go in elementary school with your $5
to Scholastics.
to the book fair. You walked out of there with like 10 books and a couple movie posters for
Pencils.
$5.
I used to love collecting the
erasers.
pencils.
Scholastic, yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I'm curious because from what I understand that the books were kind of a way to compete with Goosebumps. Do you feel like that the books kind of have that kind of vibe?
Oh, 100%. Like if you read Goosebumps, you would totally dig these. I wouldn't say, I guess because I'm so used to it and I didn't read these as a kid. I didn't even know these existed because they came out in 1998, these books. Then at that time, I was too cool for school pretty much.
And I feel like today, like maybe early 2000s, this show would have taken off.
It probably would because the production value is so much better than The Other Dimension. When The Other Dimension came out, it just seemed like too much of like what Hollywood does nowadays with producers and crap, where they just kind of water it down.
I'm guessing the Joe Dante influence because it definitely was a high quality show, a high production value show. If you looked at the Goosebumps show, you could see like the quality was not there. The budget was not there. They were shooting on 16 millimeters. So it had that kind of like not good quality look, you know, and those are using technical terms, but like Eerie, Indiana was shot on 35. It was high quality, good lighting. I will say this, that when they did the R.L. Stine Haunting Hour, that show was super popular. And of course, that looked a lot bigger than Goosebumps. And so I feel like in Eerie, Indiana coming out in like the early 2000s, I feel like it would have been a lot bigger. But I did want to ask you a question, Matt. Was there just the one book that focuses on Halloween, or did they have any other Halloween? Like as far as like this being a Halloween item, because I'm trying to decide if I want to give this a Reese's or a rock. So is it just the one book?
Well, you don't even know the book. That's the thing. So I should read what's on the back of the book because
Yeah, let's read it.
Yeah.
Read the whole book cover to cover.
I mean, I
Mike's
could give you
Minute.
the synopsis of it.
Story time with Matt. Let's go.
And if you're looking for just a specific Halloween book, this would be it. If you're into like spooky X-Files stuff, I would say get the whole series. I don't know if I would really want to collect like this Mitchell and Stanley version of it because I want the Marshall and Simon version. But again, this is a Mitchell and Stanley characters here in the Halloweird, which I also love this book too because it has special edition. It says like test your knowledge on the Eerie, Indiana, which again, you would have to watch both series, The Other Dimension and the original one, because most of the questions in here.
Is there any question about the first 15?
Yeah, it's like, what's the population of Eerie, Indiana?
16,661.
Wait a minute, Matt, back up real quick. Do you have the population on your shirt?
Oh, there you go.
Erie, Indiana, bro. I'm all about
It's
Erie, Indiana.
16661.
Greg was looking at it. That's how he cheated.
Yeah. Okay. That's how Greg got it.
Here's Halloweird. This is pretty much what it says. And my cover kind of got ripped off, so I think I can make it out pretty much what it says. But you'd think all the weirdness would give Eerie a rest at least once a year, maybe on Halloween. But no, Mitchell's dad is planning a special Halloween show on the radio station Weird, WERD, a spooky story about invaders from Mars. Then Mitchell and Stanley find some cool stuff to wear at the local costume shop and offer to help the owner organize a Halloween parade in return. Little do they know that they're about to get caught up in the weirdest adventure of all, because some of the people in Eerie aren't really people, and Dad's Halloween radio show might just turn out to be true.
Ooh, little War of the Worlds.
Yeah, it has reference to War of the Worlds. They're from, Mitchell and Stanley aren't technically from Jersey, and one of the things too is when we were younger, we had that New York Giants sweatshirt that Marshall wears. So there's so much connections to Jersey, to Erie, Indiana. That's why I just gravitated towards the show. Everything cool comes from Jersey, bro. 2004, they came out with the box set. So you can get the box set from 2004.
That's VHS box set.
DVDs.
Do you guys remember the name of the store that had all the cool, weird stuff?
Oh, come on, dude. You're asking me? It's in the books too.
It's in the books.
They talk about it all the time. Like I'm saying, that was cool about the books is because all the references from the TV shows are in here.
Is it? Nice. So what's the name of this?
The World of Stuff.
There we go. World of
Come on. You're going to get some trivia
See,
for me?
a cool, I don't know, growing up in a small town.
Like Eerie?
Like Eerie would have been cool just because, the Main Street feel. You ride your bike to, the local general store that has everything back in the day. I feel like that would have been awesome.
Do you know any of the characters from the Burbs that were also in the TV show?
Yeah, the
Eerie, Indiana?
Klopak guy.
There was two of them.
Klopak guy?
He was in, I'm pretty sure Dick Miller was in it too, if I remember correctly. One of the garbage men.
Yes, he was. They were both in the same episode.
Yep.
That's a Joe Dante thing. He always has Dick Miller in there in his movies.
They were in the episode The Losers. So just like the TV show, they had an episode just based on Halloween, Scariest Home Videos, which was really cool because in the reference, he's like, back in Jersey, we would do this. And then, talk about trick-or-treating. They didn't get the trick-or-treat. They ended up staying home. But then same thing in the series, they have the one book that's based for Halloween. Would you guys consider reading this one or any of them?
Yeah, I would read them.
I would, so definitely, I think the first one I would get would be that Halloweird one, and then the Return to Foreverwhere.
Even though it's Mitchell and Stanley?
Yeah, I would still, because it's Halloween, it's Erie, Indiana. The only thing that sucks is the price. How much did you get? How much did you find these for?
The ones that are really difficult to find, like the Halloweird one, was expensive.
What was it?
$30 on it.
That's it? That's not expensive for a book.
For a book?
Pretty much
Again, you go to that book fair.
I mean,
you walk out of there with 10 books.
Originally, if you got these in 98, this was $4.50.
$4.50.
So pretty much if you look on eBay right now, you can get most of these books for like $5.
Well, that's not bad. If it's $5, that's not bad, because a Goosebumps book right now, like a brand new one's going to be like $5.
Or you go to your local library and steal them.
Like Greg did. Mike, you would definitely read this. Would you give it a Reese's or Rocks without even knowing? I mean, you would just have to base it on the whole series because the whole series is kind of like spooky.
That was the other thing I was going to ask you. Is it a continuation? Like, are the books serialized, or are they kind of like standalone?
No, they're standalone. So if you read Foreverwhere, which is number 1, and then you read number 5, it's not like, oh, I missed something.
Nice. Even better.
They had the Eerie Triangle. That was my favorite, I think, of the series so far that I read. And again, I only have 5 books.
Wow. Over the Halloween one.
The Halloween was cool, but again, it has Mitchell and Stanley. And I always, when I was reading it too, I was like, all right, Marshall and Simon, but again, they're not bad characters.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool because his dad is planning the radio show, just like here in Jersey, War of the Worlds. So there's so much cool connections. There's so much cool, like if you're really into Halloween, there's a Halloween parade, there's a Halloween shop, the radio show. So I think it has everything that we would enjoy for Halloween right in this one story.
I do dig the idea, the shop, the parade, because these are all the things that you equate to Halloween. So to me, I'm already giving it a Reese's just for all of that.
Reese's?
Yeah, I would give it a Reese's too. I mean, it's Halloween. It's Eerie, Indiana. It's something spooky, and you could visualize that small town Halloween parade feel, and then, it has aliens.
That's what I'm talking about.
Greg, how much would you drop on that book? Like, what's your limit?
Would you drop 30? Would you drop 30 like I did on just this one book?
Yeah, the whole series.
You drop 30?
Just the one book? Yeah, why not? $30? That's not expensive.
Dude, I would share this with you guys. Like I would share it. I'd be like, yo, you want to read it? Boom, I'm going to send it to you in the mail. That's what, $1?
And then you keep it.
No, don't keep it because I want it for my collection.
You didn't have to pay $30.
Because I want to build, a shelf.
I want to build a shelf just for Eerie, Indiana.
Exactly.
I have a shelf for just Pac-Man.
Yeah. You have to get your GM 2020s. Womp womp a doodle.
Well, that was a good episode.
You got to get these, bro.
How much did you pay for those glasses?
I didn't pay for them. Mike put them in my Halloween box.
Mike, how much did you pay for the glasses?
I don't remember. I got like a pack of maybe like 10 of them. They couldn't have been too much.
Send one to Greg. We need another one for the studio for Greg for when we do these.
I think Greg does need these.
So if you are a fellow Halloweeniac just like us, you know what to do. Keep those jack-o'-lanterns lit. Check out Halloweird and the Eerie, Indiana universe because we love it, man. So keep those jack-o'-lanterns lit. Like I said, if you're a fellow Halloweeniac, you already know what to do. Help spread the word and keep Halloween spirit alive. Until we meet again in the pumpkin patch at the end of Mayfield Place.
Stay spooky.
This is not pertaining to the book, but it's pertaining to the original series, like we just talked about, episode 5. All right? This is from episode 5, Scariest Home Videos.
Okay.
Harley, which is Simon's brother, is watching a monster movie. What is the name of the movie that is playing he gets zapped into and switches with Sir Boris von Orloff?
It's the Mummy movie.
No, I'm gonna say like Return of the Mummy or Revenge of the Mummy or something.
The Mummy.
Mike is kind of close. Ooh. It's The Bloody Revenge of the Mummy's Curse.
Ooh. With Brendan Fraser.
Well, Mike should also, like a little bonus thing. Who's the character of the Mummy really based off of? Like, it's in the name.
Boris Karloff, Mummy?
Yeah. Sir Boris van Orloff.
Yeah, that's right.
What's your trivia, Mike?
That's our trivia.